Hello. Now I know we mostly have been covering woodworking on this channel. Pretty much everything up to date is everything you see behind me, the building of the shop and getting sawdog woodworking off the ground. Today I'm taking it a slightly different direction. I have a truck, Chevy Colorado, and the thermostat has already gone bad in it, which kind of pisses me off a little bit because it's only got 43,000 miles in it. And I'm already having to delve into the engine. I don't have a lot of money right now, which has pretty much been the case throughout the course of owning vehicles. So that's how I've kind of learned. I have mechanic friends, they've taught me. I've had wonderful YouTube, the University of YouTube, to show me how to do things. And I just keep in mind this thing that my welding teacher, Mr. Crozier, had said to me in high school. If you know lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, you can pretty much fix anything. I know that kind of changes a lot with the advent of electrical vehicles and whatnot. I know those are a little more advanced, but what we're doing today falls under the umbrella of lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. It's just some bolts, undo them, redo them. Now, I'm, again, not a mechanic, so I do recommend going to the video that I've linked to give them to see that. But again, this could be an interesting watch for you as well, just to see if it is exact. I have found that a lot of the videos I've watched don't match up to the reality that I see in front of me when I go and do it. So this could be a little different, or it could be great. You see I'm bundled up. I live in Maine, and like thermostat battery, excuse me, not thermostat, I'm fixing a thermostat, like smoke detector batteries that only fail at 2 a.m. for some reason, I have engine troubles, and I can't remember ever having engine trouble in the summer. It's always been when it's cold out. So today, I think we're gonna get a high of 43 degrees here in Maine, which is not awful, but right now it's about 31. I was gonna let it warm up, but I just wanna get this done because I've got so much else to do, start making money and get this business off the ground, but life throws you hiccups. So we're gonna get through it today. I feel a little, I don't want to say bad, whining about this. I'm not really whining about it. It's just today's pain in the ass that we have to deal with. But I feel bad because yesterday was Veterans Day. And I think about all the brave men and women that have made their sacrifices, their families and whatnot, and the harm's way that they put themselves in. And I'm sitting here bitching about going after work in the cold. First off, I was rambling. Thank you so much for your service. I truly appreciate you. But getting into the cold now, I've been pretty much every job other than teaching, I've worked outside. So it's, in the rain, in the cold. I've had a wrench freeze to my hand years ago, picked up, a socket, had my glove off, it had been sweating, it was minus 30 out, and the wrench froze for a second and then dropped off. So hopefully today's not gonna be like that. I'm going to show you the tools. I've got them laid out in front of me here. I'll show you the tools that you're going to need, and then we're going to get started, and fingers crossed it goes well. All right, here we go. So before we get going, I want to sneak this little bit in on what the symptoms were and why I thought that it was my thermostat to begin with. I was taking my truck for short drives coming home, and the fan would keep running after I shut the vehicle off, probably for about anywhere between 10 to 30 seconds. It had never done that before, and I thought, it's pretty cool out. It shouldn't be overheating. So I did this for about a week or two, and I ended up driving it on the highway and back for probably about an hour-long ride. My needle on the temperature gauge did not lift off of 160, and the fan was still running every time I stopped. And I thought, I just had to admit to myself, okay, something is wrong. So with research, it really came up, those two symptoms of the needle not moving or being sporadic was another one, or the fan running without getting any sort of warning light on the dashboard really kind of led me to believe that it wasn't a sensor issue, that it was more actual mechanical thermostat issue. So that is what led me to believe that this was the repair that I needed to make today. So just wanted to cover that. I realized it after I finished all this that I hadn't talked about it, so I brought this back to the beginning of the video. Now I'm going to show you, and then we'll wrap up at the end. Okay. Now, like I said, I've been fixing my own cars for a long time. As something breaks, I buy a new tool. So I've accumulated this over time. You may need to run out to the store and get something. You may not. You might be able to get away with what you have, but this is what I'm going to be using today. I have my torque wrench, and it's not a digital one. It doesn't click. It just kind of bends, but it's going to get us close to where we need to be. I have the thermostat itself. This is what we're going to be replacing today, just an aluminum bodied thermostat. And we are going to need, I have a 1/4-inch socket here, just the 1/4-inch socket wrench. I have an extension I may or may not need, and I have, this is an 8mm socket. So this was the only size 8mm I had was 1/4-inch, so that's why I'm using this with this separate socket. If you have an 8mm that fits something else, then you're all set. Quick pause. This is me from the future. I just want to let you know that as I was doing the truck, the hose clamps that the video had said were 8mm are actually 7mm. So very small difference, but it matters. So not 8mm, 7mm. For my particular truck, I've found things are different. Like I said, he was using 8mm on his truck. Mine was 7 for some reason. So anyway, back to it. I have my 3/8 socket wrench. Pretty standard. I have 3 different size extensions. I'm not sure which one I might need, but hey, variety's the spice of life, so I'm bringing all 3. It's literally outside a door. I don't have far to go. I have a cheater bar. This wasn't in the video that I watched. He had a nice impact wrench, air-powered pneumatic impact. I don't have one of those, so I'm gonna use, hopefully not need brute strength, but if I need a little extra oomph to get something undone, I'll have this. The other socket sizes that I need is a 10mm, 13mm, and a 15mm. And I also have this little swivel. There's one spot that I saw that this is going to have to kind of get down in behind something because engineers don't design things to be repaired. They're just like, this goes here now. No offense to you engineers, but holy crap, you make things difficult to maintain. And an adjustable pair of pliers. So this is just socket, any old type will do, just something that it's gonna, this opens up the drain on the radiator. And I'm gonna bring just my beat up flathead screwdriver in case there's anything that needs to be pried or whatnot. So that's the lineup of tools. Oh, I'm also bringing a rag. You get grease on your fingers and whatnot. It's a good idea to kind of get that off, you know, so you don't, your gloves, or your hands don't slip on the wrenches and things like that. I'm actually going to be using some gloves. Like I said, it's 30 degrees out right now. These aren't much, but they might keep my hands from freezing a little bit. So yeah, the rag is going to be there also to wipe off some of the surfaces that the gaskets meet up to, so there isn't any debris or anything on there to cause a leak. Okay, let's head out to the truck. Well, it's not too bad out here. It's still in the 30s, but I guess I can see my breath. So I'm on the passenger side of the vehicle right now. Just to reiterate or ease your mind onto what I'm working on, this is a Chevy Colorado 2021 crew cab work truck. It has a 3.6 liter engine in it, and it's a V6. So if that matches up with yours, then we're good to go. From what I could tell, though, with a lot of the research that I was doing, having never done a thermostat on a Colorado before, the part that I bought seems to range, and how it comes in and out, seems to range between 2019 to just over 2021. I think it was 22 or 23, so before they started changing it up, I guess. So first thing we need to do, there is a shield underneath here. It's got 4 bolts. Those are the 15mm. So we're going to grab the 15mm socket and we're going to take those off. I'm going to try to get you under there and show you as best I can. So here we go. So I'm on the ground in the front of the vehicle right now, and I'm going to show you the 4 bolts that we need to undo. There's a cover, this plastic cover right here. I apologize for the video. It's not always the easiest when doing this in the driveway, but there's 4 bolts. You can see that one there. There's another one over here, right here. Where is it? Ugh, everything's backwards on the phone. This is going to be amateur hour here. I apologize. Then there's another one right here. And another one just over there. So those are the 15 millimeters that I was talking about. We're going to pull those off right now. I'll at least show you one. Helps if you have it in loosen. Crap. As I said, real world. Lots of noises, maybe some coarse language. I'm going to try and keep it nice, but if you're offended by swearing, I apologize in advance. It's actually not so cold out that I even need these gloves. Oh, that's better. There's one. And this is where an impact would come in handy. He made it look super easy in the video, but hand tools work too. I've worked on cars where I could barely fit underneath them. My friend had a Honda years ago. He was a big guy, so I was a skinny teenager, and I could barely fit underneath the thing. I couldn't take deep breaths as I was helping him reattach his exhaust. And that was, I vaguely remember being cold in our apartment building as well. Okay, there's two. These actually aren't too hard to get to from the front of the vehicle either. Oh, that one's really in there. This one feels like it wants to snap. That always worries me. Wiggle it back and forth a little bit. See if I can loosen it so it doesn't snap on me. That is really on there. Well, I'll try the other one first. So I'm really afraid of snapping that one. I have some never seize stuff or some anti-seize spray. I can see that it's just a welded nut on top of a frame, so I have access to the threads. I'm going to hit that with some of that, hopefully loosen up the rust and whatnot, and then come back to this. So nothing's easy. All right. So this is what I was talking about, PB Blaster. There's all sorts of anti-seize sprays. This is just one that I've had kicking around. It probably came off my HVAC truck from years ago. I've just hit that. I'm going to give it a few minutes, and hopefully that'll rust it up. Not rust it up. It's already rusted up. Loosen it up. I'm just really not looking to snap any bolts today. It's a real pain in the ass to have to try to get them out of there. This is not a great angle, and I would like to get this shield back on at some point. But for now, we wait. Success. As you can see, 4 bolts. This was the troublemaker one right here. The doesn't look too bad now, but with some of that PB blast and just loosening and tightening very gently, it came out. These are hardened bolts. They probably wouldn't have snapped, but I've had things snap, so I don't want to do it again, especially when I'm home alone and this is the only vehicle I have. So if I take it apart, I can't go anywhere. All right, so from there, we're going to drain the coolant. So this is my radiator here. The little drain that I'm looking for is right here, if you can see it. So there's a little drain hole right there. We're going to turn this. This feels like it's just a little piece of plastic, like everything. So you want to be careful. Thankfully, it's not so cold that I think the plastic's going to be brittle for me, but this is where the pair of pliers that I have is going to go. I'm going to loosen that back and forth. I have a clean drain pan underneath there, and I'm just going to drain right into that. So let me grab my pliers and we'll see what we can do. Okay, so this starts in the vertical position. I'm going to just loosen it up. Turns pretty good, thank God. Oh, it's going to put my arm right in the wrong spot. I do not want to pull this all the way out. I'm just loosening it, pulling it back a bit. Maybe. Come on. Okay. So, guess I hadn't loosened it enough. It's coming out a little bit now. All right. And I'm just trying to pull this out enough that I get a good stream. I don't want to pull the whole thing out. I'm going to, there we go. It's not much of a stream. More. There we go. So in the video, he says, let it drain a while. I don't know what a while is. So I guess we're just gonna have to wait. I'll time it and I'll let you know how long I go. And then when we take it off, we'll see if it was enough. All right? So right now, I've been draining it for about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, and I don't have a lot in the pan yet. I did forget to mention to, on the top of the engine, there's an antifreeze reservoir. Take the cap off that, it'll help vent the system and it comes out a lot better. So we're still draining. The nice thing is the thermostat's pretty much at the top of the engine, so we're not gonna drain the entire system. I really just wanna make sure that when I pull that off, I'm not dumping whatever is at the top of the engine out of it. So whatever I take out, we're gonna put back in anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. If I go too far, then, or if I empty the whole thing by accident, I don't know how much this takes. So right now I have, maybe, I don't know, half a gallon out of there. So I'm gonna give it a little more. As I said, I don't know how much this takes, but I'll just let you know how much or how long I let it go. So we're at about 1 minute of me talking now, so we're at about 3 minutes of draining right now, and you can see the steady stream. All right, well, that's been draining for about 5 minutes. The stream is slowing down a little bit, so I am going to close this up. Easier said than done. Being careful with it. It's not easy because the drain pan is in the way. So just pushing and twisting that back in, and then we'll lock it. It's gonna, oh, I think Needs to be in the horizontal position to lock back in, or push back in. Okay, there we go. And then I'm just going to tighten that back up. This piece should be vertical. Guess I can get the pan out of the way now. Twist that vertical so it locks it in. Nope. Doesn't look like it's all the way in. There we go. It wasn't all the way in. All right. And then I'm just going to lock that up. I don't want to go too tight on it because it is just a piece of plastic. I want to snap it. That is vertical, up and down. Nothing's coming out of it, so we're good. I'll show you how much I get out of there. So here's the antifreeze. I don't know, I'd say it's about a gallon that I pulled out of there. So we'll hopefully see if that's enough. I'm gonna bring it up top now. All right, so we're up at the top of the engine now. I've got everything. In the video that I watched, he puts the shield back on before he comes up here. I'm not confident we have enough out yet. Never done it, so we'll find out. So I haven't put that back on yet. Like I said, in the video, he's already got that done. I'm just gonna clean all this off. It's a little dusty. I just wanna make sure none of this is gonna get into the engine because part of this is we're gonna be removing the oil cover here. Get that out of the way. So this one right here is gonna need an extension, but what I'm also seeing is if you've got good enough hands, you can get underneath this cover and get it with a ratchet. I do have the extension, so I'm not going to mess around with that. I'm going to go right under, but there is room under here. If you want to fight with it, you can get something under there. So there's that bolt there. There's one right here in back, and then there's one more right back here. It's kind of underneath. So all fairly easy to get to in the grand scheme of things of an engine. So I'm going to take those three out. Those, I believe, are the 10 millimeter? Yep, 10 millimeter. All right, so just got this to kind of keep my things sort of good. All right, that comes off nice and easy, thank God. So hopefully the rest come off just as well. And that one doesn't need to come off. It's just gonna loosen up. Get something back. It's hard to tell when they're out. Okay, that one's out. Ow. I've already cut myself once on this cowl. It's a little sharp. Okay, that one is out. Ooh, that wants to fall out, so I'm gonna just take it. Put that right there. Okay, I'll get back over to this one. Back on there for now. All right. Thankfully, all of those came out pretty easy. If we only have trouble with one bolt, I'll be happy. All right. So now I want to take the 8 millimeter, and that's going to go, there's a hose clamp here, there's a hose clamp here, there's one back here, you can see it. And then once we get under there, there's also a vacuum hose that we're gonna undo, or a breather hose. Huh. Well, in the video those called for 8mm, it's not 8mm. So I'm gonna go grab my socket set and we're gonna see what those actually are. So it ended up being a 7mm. So just one down. And I don't need to take these off, I'm just loosening them. That one loose, that one loose. And I don't know if you can hear. Let me move you so you can see that one a little better. It's right down in here. Ratchets need a little oil. They're pretty tight. Okay. So that one's loose. All right. Okay, so with all the bolts loose, with all the hose clamps loose, I'm gonna see if I can get these free. This might be where I need to get the screwdriver, but it seems to be loosening up pretty good. Actually, might need to loosen that one a little bit more. Well, that one came off. Come on. Gotta take this off, make sure nothing falls down inside the engine. Oh, they make it look so easy. Okay. Aha! Okay. Uh-oh. Okay. So that's loose now. It's just one spring-loaded thing underneath here that it's hard to show you. Just give it a squeeze to the left. Pop that off. All right. And that comes right out. Oh. What have we got here? Something's been living in there. Thank God it didn't chew any of the wires. Okay. I don't think there's anything living there. Yeah. Little nest of some sort. A friend living in here. Yep, thankfully it didn't chew any of the wires around its house. It just decided to live there. Good. So this little breather hose here, all I did, if you can see it, is I pushed just to the left and it unlocks it and I popped it right off. That was just underneath. That'll spring back in. All right, so here's the thermostat. This is, it's kind of a bad angle. Let me see if I can get you in a little bit better. All right. So I've got my 13 millimeter socket with a medium extension here. And there are 2 bolts. This is in the way, this support. This is what I took one of the 10 millimeter bolts out of. So this needs to come out of the way. The thermostat is underneath it back here. So there's a bolt here and there's a bolt right here. So we're gonna see if those come out pretty easily. That actually wasn't too bad. I always want to be careful. This engine's aluminum. It's easy to strip it. So we just want to be careful, especially when we're putting everything back. Oh, it always makes me feel good when I get a couple of bolts that just come off easily. Usually the taking apart is a lot harder than the putting back together. This goes a lot faster if you watch the other video with a impact, but again, I do not have one. And you may not either, so you're following along with me. Oh, one thing I want to do, where did I put it? There it is. I'm going to put the oil filler cap back on, just so nothing gets down in the engine. All right, and there's a wire support tie here. He kind of tears it out in the video. I'm going to see if I can just get this up out of the way without, well, I don't have any more of these, so I don't want to pop it out. You know what I can do? I'm going to take a pair of needle nose pliers, just pinch it a little bit and see if I can push it through. I don't know if it'll go or not. Yeah, it went. If that doesn't hold all that great, I have some zip ties. I'll just zip tie that back in place. All right, so have that. I'm gonna get that out of the way for now. Now, assuming we drained this enough, this tube right here hopefully is empty. This bolt right here, and there's a bolt right down here. We're gonna take both those off right now. Those are the, I wanna say 10 millimeter. So it is in fact a 10 millimeter. I have my 10 millimeter. I'm gonna just loosen these for right now, because if I have a lot of coolant still coming out, I'm gonna tighten those back up and drain it more. Oh, that came off fairly easily. And so did that one. Ooh. Just crack it a little bit. No coolant is coming out, so that's a good sign. Crack it a little bit more. Got a little bit, but it's not pouring out, so it's just residual, I believe. So I'm gonna go for it. Yeah, we're looking good. Okay, those are both off. Now in the video he mentions that if the gasket still feels good, you can reuse it. I'm in luck. It's squishy, it's still raised, it's a good looking gasket, so I get to use this again. All right, nice thing is I drained enough coolant out of it, so now I just need to find those two fun little, get that out of the way as best I can. Okay, I see them. There's one dug in there, and there's one, good God, I don't even know. Okay, and there's one dug right down in there. Yep. So that swivel, I'm gonna try, hopefully it works with an extension. It's still all 10 millimeters. So this is the swivel I was talking about. Just hopefully gets down on in there. I can't show you really what I'm doing. Ugh. This looks like it's gonna suck. I can feel it. Yeah, super fun. Fucking, there it is, first swear. I cannot, for the life of me, get it on that stupid bolt. Oh, hold on, maybe. Doing everything by feel here. I can't see it. Ah. It swiveled itself right off. All right, so this one is a pain in the butt, but I think I got it. And it's snowing a little bit. Okay, got that one. I ended up using just a regular 10 millimeter wrench, kind of finagled it in the front, loosened it a little bit, and now I'm just using a regular extension in the 10 millimeter to get that out of there. Hopefully I can do the same for the other one. That one just went right on, and good. So it really was just that one that's tucked in this pain in the ass corner over here. Once we get these two bolts off, that's what holds the thermostat in place, the whole thing we're trying to replace. I don't know what time it is. I've been out here for a while now. This isn't real time. I've stopped and started it a few times. Okay. All right. Cut my hand up a few times. All right, it's coming. It's really just getting it started. That was the problem. I think that's out. Okay, so got a few leaves and things down there. Before I pull that out, I'm going to try to get those out of there. I don't want any of that falling in. I've accumulated some things over the years, as I've said. That out of the way. I think that's it. All right. Whoopsie. Let's not lose the camera. Okay. All right, let's get that out of there. Oh, goody. It's super fun to try to get out. Oh my God, the way they build these things is such a pain in the butt. It makes makes it look so easy in the video. There. Okay. So there's the old one. I don't know what's wrong with it, if anything, but awesome. Doesn't seem to want to do what it's supposed to anymore. And here's the new one. Oh, thank God, it does match. So I don't know if you can see down in there, but I just want to clean this surface off a little bit just to make sure there's nothing there before I put a new piece on. Here's some crinkling. There's some leaves and stuff in there still. Pull those out of the way before I put the new one in. Don't want anything on that surface. So there's no corrosion, thankfully. It's just a little dirt right there. I'm just gonna smooth that out. So after all this, I do not want to leak. That looks pretty good. I know you can't see it and I apologize, but all right, I'm gonna get this one back in. There's a little hose right there that's just hanging it up a little bit. So I'm just gonna get that out of the way if I can. Firm but gentle. Oh man, nope, it's wedged right in there now. Come on. It's almost there. Wow, they do not give you any room for this. Just bolt up just in case that's part of the problem. Possibly was. Oh, it's almost there. This is a fun little puzzle. Aha! Whew! It's really just a matter of wiggling it until you get it. Okay. Let's see if I can get these bolts back in. Get this tight. All right. Maybe I should have left the bolts in, but I just wasn't going in with them in the way. But now getting them in is proving a little harder. There we go. Okay. Both bolts are in. Now we just have to try to line them up very gently. Again, this is aluminum. If it doesn't feel like it's going, then ease up because you do not want to cross thread this. Retapping the hole for an engine is not fun. I've never had to do it. I'm not gonna try now. I'll try the back one first. Very gently. Please excuse the bad edit. My camera battery died in the cold, and I didn't realize it. What you missed is just me fitting the bolts back in there. Now I am torquing them to the specifications that they asked for. 89 inch-pounds or 7.47 foot-pounds or 10.6 Newton meters. And I did the back bolt. Now I'm going to just move ahead to the front bolt, the one that was really difficult to get to. I did manage to kind of get it in there. It's really a finagle. And then once that, I just want to make sure the surface is clean, and I'm going to put the radiator hose back in. These are the 10 millimeter bolts again, and it is going to also take the same torque measurements. The reason I have given multiple measurements for the torque is in the video I've been referencing, he says 89 inch foot-pounds. Mine only measures in foot-pounds, which is why I gave all three of the common measurements, depending on what type of tool you're using, if at all. If not, I think for this you could get away with getting them tight enough so they've just stopped, and then give the wrench a couple of taps, and it should be just enough. Again, you do not want to over tighten this. Aluminum strips real easy, and that's what the engine block is made out of. Once I've tightened up and torqued the bolts for the thermostat and then the radiator hose, it's time to put the bracket back on. These are the 13 millimeter bolts. Now I'm not going to torque these two bolts. All I'm going to do, I'm going to show you what I meant when I say just give them a couple little taps afterwards. I get them to where they are tight, and then just give them about 1/4 to 1/8 of a turn. So if you're looking at a clock, big hands on the 12, I'm turning it to about 12:15. And once those are in place, it's time to put the plastic cover back on top. Don't forget to take the oil cap off. I didn't do that, so you'll see that right here. Just got to get that out of the way, making sure that there isn't anything that's going to fall down in there. And it's just a matter of getting all your hoses lined back up with everything and slid back in place. Once I get that first hose hooked back up, I put the oil cap back on. Again, just trying to keep anything out of the engine. And then I move to the other side and get those other two back in place. First, you have to get the little breather hose underneath snap back on. I did that pretty much just by feel. I pushed the clip to the left, slid it on as soon as I felt it go in place. I released it, gave it a couple of pulls just to make sure it didn't come back off and it was locked on. And from there, it's just the two on the left-hand side. The one that gave us a lot of problems at the beginning went on pretty easily, and then that other little one went on pretty quick as well. There are little tabs on the hoses that help get everything lined back up. Then I grab again, I had 7 millimeters for my hose clamps, and I just tighten those all back up. You do not want to over tighten these. If they strip out, that's pretty much it, and you've got to get some new ones. So get them tight. You just want to make sure that the hose doesn't twist and turn once you have it in place. And once that's done, we move on to bleeding the radiator. As I do everything in reverse, my hoses are nice and tight, so now I just want to make sure I get the three 10mm bolts back in to secure the plastic housing in place. Being able to reach my hand under there helped me line up this bolt. The other two bolts went in real easy. I did not torque these bolts either. I got them finger tight and then gave them a quarter turn. I seem to have skipped over the third bolt, so don't forget that there is a third bolt on the left-hand side of that V6 top there. I am refilling the coolant right now. I don't know if it's good practice to use what you pulled out, but that's what I have, so I am slowly pouring that back into the reservoir. And you don't want to go too high because there is an overflow on there, and it started pissing out a little bit of coolant onto the ground. So just go slow. The system will have air in it, so what you want to do is that radiator hose that we had taken off, you'll see me do it right here, it's not very hard, so you just start squeezing that and that forces the air, you'll hear it go into the reservoir. And I'll be quiet for a second. As I was squeezing this hose, it was pulling more of the coolant into the system, and as the reservoir started going down, I would just top it off a little bit more until I got it all in. Once I got as much in as it would go, I started the engine and let it run for a little while, and the water pump helped pull more in. So I let the truck warm up in the driveway for a little while, and the needle wasn't moving. So I was starting to get a little nervous that the repair wasn't the right one. Ended up taking it for a short drive up my street. I don't have a very long road. Took it to the end, came back, and the temperature gauge was still not lifting off of 160. And I was getting pretty kind of disheartened on that because we just spent all this time, and you saw what we went through what I went through to make this repair. So I decided, okay, well, maybe I've never paid attention to see how long it takes for the engine to warm up. Okay, take it up the road. So I took it up the road. Nothing's changing. I was like, oh my God. So I resigned myself to realize that this probably wasn't the issue, and I just wasted all this time to make this repair for nothing. And now I have to figure out what it actually is and maybe take it to a garage and get it diagnosed. Came back, took a left onto my street. As soon as I took the left, all of a sudden the needle just rose right up to operating temperature. And I thought, oh my gosh, so it must have just still had some air in there. I finally got that air out and it started reading a temperature, and oh my God, the feeling that I had, I'm just in my truck, just almost punching the roof. I was so excited. So it's all better. We fixed it. It took, I think I started filming somewhere around 9:45 this morning. So let's say we got out there around 10 o'clock. I didn't take any breaks. I went straight through, and it's now about 1 o'clock. So roughly a 3-hour repair. Not too bad. I think if I were to do it again, we could go a lot faster. But not too shabby, and I saved a lot of money doing it. So I hope this helped you. I'm excited that it's working. I'm going to take it again just to make sure. I'm going to pick my daughter up a little later anyway. So that'll be the real test, taking it downtown and back. But I hope you got something out of this. I hope this helps you with any of the repairs you're making. Like I said, reference the other video as well. He seems to be a professional mechanic. This showed you the real world, in the driveway of how I did it. But I'm not going to ramble anymore. I'm hungry and I'm going to go grab some lunch. My next video is most likely going to get back to our original format of just woodworking and building things. But as things break, I am a pretty handy guy. I'm going to video them here as well, and I'll throw them up. So yes, it's a woodworking place, but I also know how to do other things. I'm going to treat YouTube the way I always use it. It's a place for learning and teaching. So I'm going to keep showing you what I know and keep teaching. And if there's something that you have questions on, send me a line, leave a comment, and I check them as regularly as I can. And I just want to keep imparting my knowledge as best I can. Until then though, like I said, I'm hungry. I'm going to go grab something to eat. Have a great day. I hope your repair goes well. If it does, shoot me a line sometime and let me know that it worked, and I'll share in your excitement. Till then, like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.